Welcome to this episode of our book read through of Elon Musk, Woke Messiah by Albion. And we left on this page. And it starts off with another positive affirmation word, wonder. And that kind of goes with that Bertrand Russell quote from the last episode that says, "Know what you know, but don't let it limit your imagination." That's probably a poor paraphrase. But yeah, wonder. And I guess maybe take the time to wonder. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the day to day, we don't give our time to just think and let our mind wander and wonder. Then we have the LBM blurb from 2066 that says, "Music is man's most civilized achievement, man's most useful creation. Music may be man's only civilized achievement, his only contribution. Man's closest model of nature, man's closest model of perfection. Music speaks to people in ways words cannot express. It touches unspoken parts of the heart, mind, and soul. The wise man plays his life along with inspiring music. He thinks his thoughts in step with a drumming beat. Heaven is surely filled with music, filled with angelic melodies. Hell must be the anguished absence of all organized sound. What kind of music are we living our life to?" And then in bold it reads, "Music may be man's only civilized achievement. It touches unspoken parts of the heart, mind, and soul." And then in parentheses it says, "Classical Russian reggae." Is that the kind of music LB's living his life to? Okay. Below that it says, "Every day there is a chance we will die. Every day it becomes more likely." And then in parentheses it says, "Bring it." Apparently he's not worried about dying. I guess every day we are closer to the day we are gonna die. Some people think about it more than others. Some people not at all. Next page, we have a Bertrand Russell quote, and it reads, "Collective fear stimulates herd instinct and tends to produce ferocity toward those who are not regarded as members of the herd." Yeah. I mean, even on a personal level or on a social level, and Russell's talked about fear, or ignorance and fear kind of being part of the same animal. So a lot of times we're less likely to learn why we're scared or what we don't know, and just jump into, banding with people that are like us and be negative towards anyone who's not. It's kind of sad. The LBM blurb from 2038, and it reads, "To understand truth, we must fight impulses that we have indulged our entire lives. We have not been socialized to think for ourselves. We have not been socialized to question everything. We have been socialized to accept and assimilate. We are socialized before we can think for ourselves. Thus, we must question everything. Even those things that feel most natural and right. Even those things that feel blasphemous to question." And then bold it reads, "Question even those things that feel blasphemous to question." And maybe especially those things. Below that it says, "I wonder how the different conditions on Mars will affect the human body and how it develops." Yeah, that's a good question. So what, the gravity is lower? How quickly will we adapt to that, and how? And the atmosphere and the temperature, we'll have to adapt to as well in one way or another. Next page. It says, "Hey Elon, how old were you when you had your first crush?" Kind of a random question, but that's probably a significant experience for most people. Then we have the Albion blurb from 2065, and it reads, there exists nothing but forces in the universe, forces existing in different concentrations, forces that constantly attract and repel each other, forces that are far too small to be measured. The accumulation of these forces is all we can sense. We are a slave to our senses. They enslave us in an ignorant reality, when the truth is everywhere, all the time. Yet we will never know this perfect truth, for we are all blind, hopelessly blind. And then in parentheses it says, man, what a downer. Yeah. And then in bold it reads, the accumulation of these forces is all we can sense. We are a slave to our senses. Yeah, there was something like this at the beginning of the book, right? Maybe this exact one, I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, something to, a perception thing? I don't know. Something to think about. Maybe not for too long, though. Next, we have another movie idea. And it's 2 hours of preview starring Elon in trailers of every genre. And then parentheses says, previews are the best. This is the best movie idea I have seen presented so far. I love previews. And yeah, it'd be cool to see him jump from one genre to another every 3 or 4 minutes. Next page is a Bertrand Russell quote that reads, your writing is never as good as you hoped, but never as bad as you feared. And then in parentheses it says, that's a relief. Yeah, this reminds me of his quote about, was it something about other nations are never as good as they think of themselves, or never as bad as others think of them, or something to that effect. That duality again, that spectrum thing, that balance, you know, those themes are coming up again and again. Then we have the Albion blurb from 2061 that reads, children are fearless until they are taught otherwise. They have faith in things that cannot be proven, faith in instincts as opposed to facts. How careless we are in the rearing of children. Our best intentions do not do children justice. They deserve more. They deserve our respect and admiration. And then bold says, children are fearless until they are taught otherwise. Yeah, for everything we value as far as education and learning and knowledge, it seems like parenting would be a top priority, but that's kind of left to individuals, their family, just what they grow up with. Seems like we could take a little bit more care in how we prioritize that maybe. And below that it says, how differently would we approach life if we saw ourselves as part of a bigger organism? That's a good question. If we thought less of ourselves, if we removed some ego and tried to think and act for the greater good, seems like that would be the way to go, especially since we are in a society. Seems like doing and acting for the greater good would come back, and it would be more of a net positive. I'm sure there's negative aspects, but overall, sounds like a good idea. Next page, it says, hey Elon, what is the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you? Yeah, we all have those times that we think back on. It would definitely humanize Elon if we knew what that was for him. Below that is a positive affirmation word. It says simplify. Simplify. Probably always good to simplify. Simplification probably helps with understanding and stress and a lot of things. And it says, hey Elon, you have all the resources and labor in the world. How would you proceed? Ooh. I'm sure he has a million ideas, most he can't get to. He probably is, even though he has massive resources and labor at his disposal. If he had unlimited resources and labor, how would that change maybe his vision, his timeline. I'd like to know the answer to that question. Let's see. Bertrand Russell. We will start with this page in the next episode. So this episode is done. Thank you for joining. Join us for this next one. And until then, have a great day.